over a year and a half, more than 1 billion tenge was invested in startups by the Park of Innovative Technologies Anonymous Cluster Fund, also known as Tech Garden, as part of a Startup Kazakhstan International Acceleration Program. The program operates under the auspices of the government and aims to create high-tech companies in the small and medium-sized business market. Over 3,000 startups from Kazakhstan, Russia, Bulgaria, Poland, the USA, and other countries submitted their applications for participation in Startup Kazakhstan. As a result, 96 companies were selected. All of them have already created 250 jobs. Our first task was to connect and concentrate the capabilities of the state and business represented by the industry of the mining and metallurgical, oil and gas sectors, smart network solutions, and to some extent, the Academy of Sciences. This kind of neutral platform contributes to a better understanding among each other. That is, we focus on the concept of understanding each other more, to listen to the needs that companies have. The International Venture Fund Tech Garden Ventures was created to finance and attract investment in startups. Each program participant received funding of up to $31,000. An important point is that all startups signed an investment agreement and opened a limited liability partnership in Kazakhstan. Under the terms of the agreement, the company's investments can only be spent by developing its product in our country. In the process of acceleration and after it, meetings are held with venture investors and the corporate sector to attract more serious investments in mature projects. 5 years ago, when we took on this project with our partners, we started from a coffee shop. Two people came up with the idea that it's quite difficult for investors to invest in startups because apart from the investment risk, you carry a lot of risk of a different nature. Where startups will be located, how reliable they are, how well they recognize if there is an ecosystem according to the measures of support for innovative business that the state is doing today. In particular, for startups, the involvement of a multinational company, the development of the most promising technologies, and the result of the implementation of such projects.
перспективных технологий и результаты деятельности внедрения такого рода проектов.
The ultimate goal of the Cluster Fund through acceleration is to prepare startups for the creation of pilot projects that will solve specific problems of Kazakhstan's corporations and will be bought out. To interest the corporation, the Cluster Fund carries out explanatory work with them. What is a startup? This is an already tested product. It is a wholesome, quite flexible team which understands a specific problem. These are invaluable qualities that are important in reducing spendings for production activities. Of course, this doesn't concern a fundamental research, which should be done by scientific centers. We are talking about application solutions that must be implemented in projects in a very short time. We observe such a trend in the whole world. And in the United States, for example, startups offer jobs 3 times more than corporations. Another area of activity of Tech Garden is the creation of an IT division in Almaty. In total, 4 laboratories are located on its territory together with multinational companies, 50 companies, as well as 40 startup teams. Our role was to ensure that long-term agreements with the private business that provides rental premises, it was cheaper, no more than $10 per square meter. It was located in the city center. The company had the opportunity to access educational programs, communicate with each other. Why is this important? Because when a startup is trying to realize its idea alone, it's more difficult for it to survive without exchanging of ideas. In the near future, on the basis of high-tech laboratories created jointly with multinational companies, the Industry 4.0 Competence Center will be launched. At the Innovation Cluster, they are confident, together with the resources and potential of the participants, it can become a real platform for the development of Kazakhstan's industry. Virgin Galactic went public and received a valuation of $1.5 billion. The company became the first and so far the only one in the field of space space tourism, the shares of which are available for free purchase. Its potential opponents, SpaceX and Blue Origin, are still in the status of private companies. Today, Richard Branson's corporation is developing a special-purpose aircraft that can climb to a height of about 12 kilometers, which can provide passengers with short-term zero gravity. These are so-called suborbital flights. Virgin Galactic plans to reach the figure of 1,500 Cosmo tourists by 2023 and receive revenue of $600 million. The island from the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, Little Pipe Cay, which is part of the Bahamas archipelago, is sold for $87 million. The atoll has beaches with white sand and palm trees, as well as 5 houses with designer renovations and furniture, and there is also a berth of yachts. The island belongs to the American actor Johnny Depp. Real estate experts describe this place as a truly idiosyncratic piece of paradise with crystal clear water and breathtaking panoramic views. An eco-project for the separate collection of garbage, Tazalık, has been around for only 2 years. However, in such a short time, its founder, Aybek Rahim, has already managed to achieve significant success. Just recently, a 100th anniversary company registered in the client-based mobile application. At the same time, 80% of them are international. The application is valid in Almaty and allows you to separate waste, including paper, cardboard, plastic, glass, aluminum cans, and send them for recycling. We serve all population service centers, all Akimat of Almaty. We have already installed eco boxes. There, they have already begun the process of separate collection. Now we are starting the installation process in public service centers. You can find our boxes for collecting paper, plastic, and glass in all public service centers. Currently, using a mobile application every month, it is possible to collect more than 10 tons of waste. Only in Almaty, together with Kazakhstan Waste Recycling, 27 garbage collection points were established. The mobile application allows you to choose the closest. We have our own base in Almaty. There, we sort the collected waste into categories, paper separately, as well as plastic, cardboard, and glass. We also pack aluminum cans and lids. Then, we hand it all over to our partners for processing. If something remains, then we recycle it ourselves. We want to buy certain equipment, including an extruder. We assembled some equipment ourselves. But this is a small scale. We understand that you should not waste your time. If you do something, then you need to do it comprehensively and preferably so that not a single process is weak. Initially, startups sold boxes for rubbish at its original cost. As the interest on the part of the market grew, they began to gradually raise prices in order to achieve self-sufficiency and profit. The enormous value that we bring is that companies pay less for waste collection because we take away these waste products from them for free. And secondly, we are increasing the corporate social responsibility. That is, companies that used to dump garbage into tons of landfill in tons. Now, all this is sent through us for recycling. It becomes their social responsibility. Maybe they use it for their reporting, for an eco-image, for eco-PR. Another important advantage of this application is that users can share data on collected garbage with each other, as well as receive prizes for waste collection. When the user opens the application, a map of reception points open in front of them. It can sort collection points by waste category. When he finds this point, he can build a route and call an administrator of the reception point. Then handing over his waste to this point, he can exchange the waste for bonuses and bonuses for prizes. Let's say he handed over 10 kilograms of waste paper. He can exchange it for an eco mug. And we also have user ratings. They are divided into 2 types, between users and between companies.
Рейтинг делится на 2 типа. Между пользователями и между компаниями.
The founder of the project admits that startups pay great attention to master classes, at which employees of interested companies are explained in detail why it is so important to sort garbage and bear social responsibility before society. In the near future, Aybek Rahim hopes to attract additional investment and diversify his business. We are now going to meet with investors to receive $100,000 in investments, so we can not only deal with collection, but also start the processing, because we understand that the processor always dictates the conditions, and accordingly, we want to make more or less favorable conditions for ourselves, so that it is not so easy to resell the waste, but to carefully sort it and then process it. The startupper wants to expand the geography of his business. According to Jibek, he constantly receives messages from indifferent citizens of Kazakhstan from different cities of the country who are ready to sort their waste. Therefore, it is possible that soon the Taza Look mobile application will appear in 2 more cities, Nur Sultan and Shymkent. Can you hear me? Too much light. This way is fine. Hello, my name is Anton Musin. I'm Managing Director of Accenture Kazakhstan.
Давайте поговорим о технологии, которая называется голография.
Let's talk about a technology called holography. The technology is quite old in terms of the time of its initial invention. In my opinion, it has been known since the 1940s, even before the invention of all kinds of digitalization, before the invention of the computer, digital photography, lasers, and so on. The first prototypes for recording holographic image appeared. What is holography in general? This is a record of an image, for example, of an object in 3-dimensional form. And attempts of this kind of recording were conducted for a long time.
Такого рода записи велись довольно давно. Мы понимаем, каким образом
We understand how it is necessary to direct light sources on objects and how to get these returning unreflected rays from the source back. Write them down.
возвращающиеся, так сказать, отраженные лучи от источника назад, записать их и таким образом получить как бы трехмерное изображение предмета. Дополнительный толчок для развития технологии.
And thus get a kind of 3-dimensional image of the subject. An additional impetus for the development of technology appeared with the invention of the laser. The laser just allows you to direct a coherent radiation to the object, and thus, having scanned it, record it in some form. It was possible to record it either in analog form like before, or now it is possible to do it in digital form. If we talk about the future of this technology and its current development, despite the fact that it has been around for a long time, but in my opinion, it is not used very widely, for various reasons, primarily because it is still quite complicated.
Очень широко, по разным причинам. В первую очередь, потому что это все еще довольно сложно. Да, вам все еще довольно сложно получить.
It is still quite difficult to obtain instantly or very quickly a 3-dimensional image of an object or person. For example, it's still quite difficult for us to technologically project it at some point on some subject.
Да? Что мы видим? Мы видим, что
What do we see? We see that an equipment that allows you to do this is quite expensive. We see only small places of usage of this technology. For example, in education. In 2017, as far as I know, at a University of Singapore, a lecture was conducted from the United States of America. A professor was projected into the classroom where he was giving a lecture. It took a lot of preparation in order to give this lecture. That is, it is quite complicated from a technical point of view of implementation.
И он вел лекцию. Но такая подготовка, она занимала месяцы, чтобы вот провести эту лекцию. То есть это довольно сложная с точки зрения технической реализации технология. Попытки ее коммерциализировать, ее
Attempts to commercialize it, implement it for use by us, relatively speaking, do not exist. These are relatively inexpensive holographic projectors, but the problems of these devices in the first place are still expressed in terms of price. It is still quite expensive. Secondly, holographic projectors need an environment where they need to project these images. Water vapor is used to create this kind of medium. This is an additional source of some mass of water that you need to use with a holographic projector.
Где-то в какой-то момент времени зачастую для создания такого рода среды используется, допустим, водяной пар. То есть это еще и дополнительный источник какой-то вот массы там, воды, например.
There is
да,
simply no such technology that would realize it qualitatively and at a high level in the air, as we often see in science fiction films. Attempts are underway, but the quality of this image is very poor. That is, you will not get a picture that is not of photographic quality, but even close to it. Technology, in my opinion, has a great future. It is first of all, of course, in communication. That is, at some point, you and I will probably be able to use a holographic call instead of a video call.
Технологии, на мой взгляд, большое будущее. Будущее в первую очередь, конечно же, в связи, да, то есть в какой-то момент мы с вами наверняка вместо видеозвонка сможем пользоваться голографическим звонком.
Smile. This is a hidden camera. The work of Kazakhstani public service centers is monitored 12 hours a day for 6 days a week. Video flows to the Unified Situational Center under the Ministry of Investment and Development of the Republic of Kazakhstan. The specialists of this department in real time create comfortable conditions for Kazakhstan citizens to receive public services. The Situation Center was created for the operational coordination of the front offices of the cooperation in terms of the provision of public services. In the form of monitoring, the work of the front offices is monitored in real time in order to quickly solve problematic issues and exclude any signs of corruption. Today, 349 public service centers operate in the Republic. Every day, they are visited by an average of 110,000 citizens of Kazakhstan, and the visit of each of them is tracked personally. The specialists at the Situation Center know how quickly the service was provided to the client and how long he stood in line. And if the waiting time has exceeded the established regulations, then the system will immediately signal this to the management of the authorized body.
Мы распределяем потоки.
We distribute flows. For example, if we see that in one of the front offices there is a large crowd of citizens, we call up the department director or the head of this department and give directions on how to upload the department.
Разгрузить отдел.
By the way, a person does not have to stand in line at all. You can book an appointment online, arrive at the appointed time, and contact the operator directly. However, the operator can himself come to the client within the framework of the mobile service. We now have 70 cars that drive throughout the Republic. In online mode, we see a request, and according to the schedule approved together with the Akimats, we go to remote rural districts where we provide services to the population. The movement of mobile center of public services is controlled by GPS, and the received data is displayed on the interactive map of Kazakhstan. Here, you can see the route, average vehicle speed, and gas mileage. And on the other slide, the system shows the performance of inspectors. A daily dossier is drawn up in the form of graphics, which displays the number of issued documents and the time spent on the provision of services. You can evaluate the operator's work by 3 criteria: excellent, good, bad. The latest assessment entails an internal investigation into the incident. Calls are made to the heads of departments who invite an employee of the public service center to find out the reason for this assessment. And then disciplinary measures will be taken if the employee's guilt is proved. At the time of filming, only 4 clients rated the service as bad throughout Kazakhstan. 474 people rated the received services as normal, and 91,338 people rated services as excellent. Thus, the efficiency of Kazakhstani Center of Public Services is almost 99.9%. According to this indicator, we can conclude that the Unified Situational Center is one of the best projects that is being implemented today under the Digital Kazakhstan program. School children from Kazakhstan took 3rd place among 191 countries of the world at the first global robotics competition in Dubai. Their robot, nicknamed Alpamız, turned out to be one of the most capable among cleaners of the bottom of the ocean. Young people did not pay too much attention on the appearance of the robot. It was important that it was practical and functional. It should not sink to the bottom of the sea, could easily move along strong currents and waves. Therefore, the main thing is that the motor and spare parts were stable and durable. unstoppable. Over the 2 days of the match, school children of Kazakhstan were leaders in the ranking, ahead of competitors from other countries by points. School children of Kazakhstan were able to join other countries and help allies. For this, Kazakhstan's team earned even more points. The resident of the incubation program of the International Technology Park of IT startups, Astana Hub, INUI, has attracted investments for the development of its project in the amount of more than 1 billion tenge. The company is creating a gaming platform that allows you to play in a 100% honest community of gamers. According to the founders, the project will solve the problem of cheating in esports. Today, the platform has submitted more than 25,000 applications from around the world. A full launch will be carried out in the first half of 2020.